Edith here. Sharing is caring. Tips of the day during this virus health storm. I don't know how long it's been. It's been, I don't know, 50, maybe we're in the 60 days. It's been the weeks. Don't take it for granted because things are different. I don't take it for granted that you're going to watch and view all my videos. I appreciate the fact that you do, hopefully bringing you value, right? The likes, the comments. I don't take it for granted that my plant will always be green. I do not have a green thumb. I don't take it for granted that I'll always have a nice Mickey Mouse shirt to wear. I don't take it for granted that we'll always have great water to drink. I don't take it for granted, even though I have lots of them, that they have the coffee. I want you to put below, what are some things that you take for granted? During this new normal, that has to change a little bit because we can't just take everything for granted. Hey, traveling to when Disney opens back up, I can't take it for granted that I can always go and get that hug from Mickey. A little social distances, we got that. But what does taking for granted mean in relation to particular people and things? Then we can't take it for granted also for our activities. Well, taking for granted means understand the value of that person or thing, expect someone or something to always be available without knowing if it's really true. Has that happened to you? Do you have people that just take you for granted? Or reverse, do you take people for granted? Do the kids, do you always take your parents for granted that they're going to bail you out, that they'll always be there, right? Do you make that? Do you sometimes don't value that person enough, right? Like our frontline workers, like our nurses or doctors. Did we take them for granted until we had this virus? Maybe we did. Now we need to appreciate them even more. Thank goodness that they've been there for us. Last week was Nurses Week, National Week, but it's important to not take them for granted when it's not a special time. So make sure you thank the frontline workers, the nurses, the doctors out there that have been keeping us safe during this virus, right? There's a lot of things. How to stop taking people for granted? Well, one way is, I think it's a 2-letter word, no. Maybe saying no so that you don't get taken advantage of or taken for granted all the time, that you're going to jump at someone's command. Does that happen? Do people take you for granted because you're always nice? Maybe if you're not nice all the time, they won't take you for granted that you'll always do it for them? Hey, don't show up. Let your absence speak for itself. Maybe they won't take you for granted. Stop constantly putting yourself in other people's shoes. Maybe. Put below. What are some of the things that you take for granted, or what are some of the people you might take for granted, right? Do we take for granted that we have the sunshine, that the weather's always going to be nice? Do we take it for granted we have meals? Do we take it for granted that we have a roof over our heads and a bed to sleep in? Also have to be thankful for these, the trees, the nature. Things are different with this new norm, so we can't take everything for granted, right? Were you able to, don't take your significant other for granted. They're healthy. Don't take your health for granted as well. Don't take it for granted that your shower works, that you have hot water. Good old sun shining. Or that you have the internet, you have a smartphone, you have a computer. Don't take those for granted, even though we seem to do that. Times are different. Don't take it for granted that someone is always going to call you, that sometimes you need to call them as well. Don't take it for granted. Don't take it for granted that people always know what you're feeling. Don't take it for granted that they know that you appreciate them. Don't take it for granted. Put down below, sharing is caring, not taking it for granted. Hey, thank you, and I don't take you for granted. Thank you for joining and watching. I will be back.